What exactly is going on with Venue Sports? What's the snag there?
Venue Sports they're in trouble. Venue Sports was invented by three different companies as a sports tier. And it didn't involve CBS. It involved Warner Brothers, who is going to lose the NBA, but they're in a lawsuit. And it involved Murdoch and Fox. And they're trying to figure out, how can we get someone to give us $45 a month to get channels that you can get somewhere else in order to make it easier to find sports. And then Edgar Bronfman, remember that name, who happens to be the Seagrams guy, who happens to be the one who tried to buy CBS, but it didn't work, and that's why Skydance has it. Edgar Bronfman has this thing called Fubo, which, are we on Fubo, Stugotz? Did you write that down?
I have no idea. I have Fubo, though. I had the free trial. I mean,
that's how they get you.
Mr. Free Trial.
I'm certain I'm paying for it every month. I mean...
Nobody remembers to cancel except Stugotz. He takes the free trials and has a spreadsheet. The most disorganized guy in the world knows exactly when to cancel so he doesn't have to pay for anything. That is absolutely on brand and tracks perfectly. But Venue, Roy, is this tier. And Fubo said, wait a minute, this is a violation of antitrust. This isn't fair. You're not able to do this tier. This is getting in the way of us trying to do our own sports tiers. And a judge actually agreed. And a judge granted an injunction, which meant Venue couldn't even start. They were going to start in August. And now there's lawsuits and all sorts of things happening. And we don't know where this ends, except I think I do. Venue's going to disappear.
So is this a similar thing to when Disney got regional sports networks and they had to give it up because of a monopoly?
That's one of the greatest things. That's not even talked about enough because those regional sports networks are all bankrupt now. And what Disney did in a fit of forced brilliance is they were told by the Department of Justice that they had to sell out those networks, and they found a buyer at a ridiculously overinflated price. And it is funny, what the Department of Justice does is they try to help us, the consumer. They try to keep prices down, keep people being competitive. I'm not sure they're doing great in the airline industry, but we can talk about that later. So they're looking at all these different deals and different ways to stop these deals from happening. And one of the things that they will look at when there is this consolidation in the streaming world, where we're trying to get on all the different streamers, wondering who's going to win at the end of the day, is anytime mergers happen, the DOJ looks and says, we don't think that this is good. And that's what they said to Disney that forced them to sell those networks.
David, what is the, say, financial return of a show or a comedic entity making a musical?
I'm going to say close to zero. When you are asked, let me give you one quick bit of advice. If you're asked, I'm sorry, to invest in a Broadway show or a movie, here's an idea. Don't do it.
Well, you say that as we build a content company that makes movies.
I want to make, Dan. If I'm making it, I can make the money. If you're asked to be a limited partner, sort of like being a limited partner in any business, be very careful. Just be very, very careful.
So I will explain to the Peacock audience here that David Samson does a podcast every day, Nothing Personal. And while it covers a lot of ground, the best ground it covers, and he does this with John Skipper and Pablo Torre as well on the Sporting Class as part of our Le Batard and Friends network, is no one has a grasp for the complexities of what is happening in sports business right now and covers it better than this person, and especially when he's with Skipper and Pablo, because they've done the work to know and be informed on business subject matter. And the reason I bring all that up is, while we're in the content business, one of the things that I find hugely fascinating about Pat McAfee kicking down the door on Disney and Iger coming out and saying, and I need the Mannings too, I need to evolve this thing, is the fact that when Tom Cruise and Will Smith, I'm reading Will Smith's autobiography right now, no one understands how hard those human beings had to work and have to work to be the biggest movie star in the world. No one understands how hard Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and LeBron James had to work to be the things they are. They are insistent on being those things now with Disney's money and Hollywood's money because they're in the making things business, but it's hard to make them well. It's not hard to make them. Untold has fallen apart because it's not hard to make them. It's hard to make them consistently well. And so when Manning and Brady and LeBron and McAfee and Shannon Sharp and all of these people are fighting with each other with Disney's money, and they're trying to run off the journalists, and Stephen A. Smith is saying, hey, wait a minute. Journalism still matters. And McAfee's going to ESPN and saying, no, it doesn't, because you rent now. You don't own me. You rent. What are you interested in there, David, when people are fighting over, these giants of sport are fighting over the money that Disney has to give away to keep up?
The number one thing is that owning your own intellectual property, that is the most important thing in today's media world. Owning your feed, owning your audience, and I say that in the nicest, best possible way, and because that leads to portability. And like free agency in sports, that is the way to make the most money. When you are a free agent and you own your talent and you can bring with you an existing turnkey big operation, you get paid multiples of what you're worth. Then you can reinvest that money and diversify your revenue streams. That's what all these people are doing, and we're doing it too at Meadowlark.
Well, that's what Meadowlark is. Like, I don't believe that ESPN knew the value of giving us our intellectual property. We're in this fight with these people because Disney gave us that to get out.
Maybe they're just being nice.
No.
No.
Maybe they just wanted to get rid of us.
No.
No.
No. They actually made a business deal, but you made a better one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I paid for it.
1-0. Yeah.
I mean, they did want to get rid of us, though.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little dicey at the end.
It was.
A little dicey at the end. Yeah, they wanted to get rid of Chris Cody.
Well, they did. They didn't.
Yeah, they
want
did
to.
get rid of
They
him.
got rid of
And
him.
then the
that,
joke
yeah.
was on us. He was an employee longer than the rest of us.
Chris Cody, you understand. I just want people
Don't
to...
blame the kid for the divorce, okay?
I'm not blaming the kid. The kid...
It might have been the final straw, but this was not a marriage that was flourishing.
The kid is not being blamed for the divorce.
I feel resentments from a lot of people in this room, and it rhymes with schmilly.
Okay.
To pay for Disney World now.
The
Not
resentment is because you've climbed to the executive producer chair because we've decided we're going to fight Tom Brady and LeBron and Peyton Manning with Chris Cody.
There would be no resentment if you just gave Billy Disney vouchers, Dan. That's all. That's all it is. Just give him some Disney vouchers.
Billy,
Start.
Billy, all right, it's a start because I'll negotiate with your next contract
4
right now.
annual
I'll
passes?
fill it with Disney vouchers.
Start the negotiating
less
with
money.
6,
You know
Billy.
what, Billy?
Well, we did get
Billy,
those guest passes, and there was coupons for 20%
I got a
off.
deal for you, Billy.
Oh, I don't know.
All
David, I
of
shouldn't take the
your
first deal,
God
right?
bless football pay is in Disney passes, as many as you want for yourself.
That's no passes.
You didn't keep any Disney friends? I still got a few.
I don't
hookups.
like asking people for things.
I do it all the
Love
time.
I hate asking people for things.
I love you, Randy.
I'm glad we've got an expert in these matters.
Hey, David, I do want to ask you. I'm a loyal DirecTV subscriber, and lo and behold, I can't get ESPN.
I canceled.
Or any other
did not.
Disney-owned
I did.
channels. You really canceled?
I canceled.
No,
Yeah,
you
I want to
did
watch
not.
the U.S. Open. I want to watch college football. I get home. DirecTV doesn't have ESPN. It's driving me crazy. I canceled.
I couldn't watch the U.S. Open either. David, is this the largest kind of conflict between a content provider and a content distributor that you can remember?
No, there was one just as big last year with Charter, and it ended right as the NFL season was starting. And Stu, I want to really dig into that. You actually called DirecTV and canceled all of DirecTV, and what did you do to get ESPN?
So I signed up for YouTube TV. I now have ESPN. I have it there. I had to get the NFL Sunday ticket anyway, so I just decided to go full YouTube.
And once this Charter disagreement is gone, are you going to get DirecTV back, or are you now permanently done with DirecTV?
I think I'm permanently done with DirecTV. As long as I can get the FBI shows on YouTube TV, I'm good. I mean,
Isn't
So
that
you
all
just-
that's happening, David, throughout?
Yes.
Like, sports fans are trying to keep up with the new normal, which is I'm going to have to start canceling a bunch of stuff because I'm not going to have I just don't understand, David, how all of this is so sloppy, all of it, that it makes it so that all of these entities have to go find their oil wells elsewhere and double dip on stuff and make the customer go and now chase it around because the money has all changed the way that we're used to doing things.
Boy, Dan, you're the king of the slop, though. You know exactly when you're trying to do something different and new that it's going to be sloppy and there's going to be twists, turns, fits, stops, and starts that may last 3.5 years. So there's a complete, what some are calling an existential crisis, including the people at DirecTV are saying that. There's a misunderstanding about what is happening in the world, and Disney does not want to acknowledge it. And that is the fight. ESPN wants to get paid what they've always been paid by DirecTV, and DirecTV is saying, no, we can't pay you that amount anymore. It's a brand new world. And as a consumer, we are paying not less for cutting the cord and for getting rid of cable. Like, Stu, do the math. You got rid of DirecTV. I know you do the math. God knows if you don't do that, you're doing nothing about how much you're paying per month when you get rid of DirecTV, but add YouTube TV, add the streamers that you need to get football, and my guess is you're going to be exactly where you were with cable or even a little higher.
I'm going to be just about exactly within a few dollars, pretty much where I was with just DirecTV, which is amazing. I mean, I'm thrilled about it, you know?
That's awesome that you're thrilled. Most consumers were hoping to actually pay less money to get just what they want. And it turns out that all this bundling and going back to venue, it's all about bundling again. We're actually going full circle back to what really was cable. It's quite unbelievable.
What's the movie you're reviewing for us this week?
I just wanted to spend a minute, and I reviewed this on Nothing Personal, this morning, but I wanted to do it here as well. I wanted to talk about Pearl Jam and Pearl Jam 20. I had a chance to go to the Pearl Jam concert last night at Madison Square Garden and make it back, of course, to do the live show at 8 o'clock. And there's a documentary by Cameron Crowe called Pearl Jam 20. And it was their 20th anniversary. And I did not know the provenance of Pearl Jam and how Eddie Vedder got to the band. I wasn't really aware of their backstory and what they've done and how they've done it. And Cameron Crowe is one of my, if not my favorite movie maker. He's done Singles and Jerry Maguire and Almost Famous, etc. So I would encourage you to watch Pearl Jam 20. And if you can see Eddie Vedder in concert, I would also encourage that.
David, good seeing you. Thank you. I will tell the new Peacock audience, NBC Sports Channel, that David Samson's podcast, which is largely available everywhere you find all of your podcasts, but is also televised on YouTube. The name of it is Nothing Personal, and the business stuff he's doing, all the stuff is good, but the business stuff he's doing is better than anybody is doing it in sports media. Thank you, David.
Thank you.